Hi, I'm Steve Miletto from the Teaching, Learning, Leading K-12 podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Coming up on episode 183 of the House of EdTech podcast, I'm going to talk about hobbies and education technology that you should use in fall 2021. Strike up the band. Welcome to the House of EdTech podcast. I am your host, Chris Nesi. The House of EdTech explores how technology is changing the way teachers teach and the impact that technology is having in education. I discuss technology that is changing our classrooms and schools, and I share tools and tips that you can hear today and use tomorrow. You're going to hear the stories of teachers, leaders, and creators just like you. The purpose? Whether you use it or not, technology is changing the way you teach and how your students learn. It's almost time for school. So it's time for the podcast. How you doing? Glad you're here. Thanks for making House of EdTech a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. Let's dive into episode 183, where I want to focus on mainly getting ready for the 2021 school year. Now, maybe your school year has already started, or maybe it's going to be starting in a few short weeks as we enter what many people call the dog days of summer. Or as I learned recently about the month of August, it's the Sunday for teacher summer, the calendar year, because the start of the school year is either here or it is going to be here. Before I dive in, though, I do want to say the reception that I got from the last episode 182, which was all about Wakelet and featured a great conversation with the incomparable Tisha Poncio. The reception was wonderful. The feedback was great. So many people were tweeting, so I'm not going to mention anybody by name, but you know who you are if you tweeted and you enjoyed the episode. If you haven't listened to episode 182, you need to go back and listen to that. It was, again, a great conversation with Tisha, and I am looking forward to planning more conversations, A, with Tisha Poncio, because she's awesome, and B, with some other amazing people, some who have been on the show previously, and some people who I've known for a while, and I want to get them here on the podcast and have a conversation and share it with you. So I am looking forward to that, and thank you, as always, for the feedback. So whenever you listen to an episode, whether you like it, whether you hate it, again, I'm just happy that you listen. Let me know what you think. Let me know your questions. Always consider tweeting at me at Mr. Nesi or reaching out through the website, chrisnesi.com/feedback, where you can send an email, or on the website on any page, there's a button where you can click, leave a voicemail, and you can send me audio. And this is an audio podcast. I would love to feature your voice here on the show with kind words, questions, comments, additional thoughts, because as I've been saying for 183 episodes now, I don't know everything, nor do I claim to. I just like to have fun sharing my perspectives and conversations with you. So, speaking of thoughts, classic Chris transition, let's head over and let me share this episode's EdTech Thought with you. Today, I want to talk about hobbies. Hobbies are super important, and it's one of the reasons why through this particular summer, I have not been as consistent releasing episodes of the show every 2 weeks as I, in past years, have really taken a lot of pride in, not really taking a summer break. And, I don't consider this to be a seasonal podcast because, EdTech doesn't disappear over the summer. As, you can see on social media, people don't stop learning. They don't stop tweeting or Instagramming. And, I decided, I didn't want to put that pressure on myself. So hobbies took a more prominent role in my life this summer. And it shouldn't just be about summer where hobbies take precedence and the other things that we're interested in. I'll be honest, I look at social media a lot, again, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, and I often wonder how people have so much time to what it appears to be to just create and create and create, whether it's, in this space, whether it's tutorials or presentations or just attend this and that. And, not really over my shoulder, but, every day I see my wife, I see my kids, and I wonder how in the heck do people just do they ever turn off the educator in them? What do they do? What are they interested in besides education? And I like to think that over the last 182 episodes, I've come across as authentic and have let you into my life. And, you should have a sense of who I am and, the things that I'm interested in. Now, if you're a relatively new listener, then maybe you don't. But I know that there are a few people who have been with me and have listened to every episode. And, for that, I thank you. But, I am not just all about education technology. I have very diverse interests. Again, it starts with my wife, starts with my children, and, being a family man, educator and podcaster, those are further down on the list. But when it comes to hobbies, we need to make hobbies a priority. How else can we, I don't want to say escape the duties of being an educator, whether you're a classroom teacher or an administrator or you work for an EdTech company. How do you become well-rounded? How do you develop personally? And I've boiled it down to 5 types of hobbies that we should all have. Number 1, a hobby that could make you money. Number 2, a hobby to keep you in shape. Number 3, a hobby to keep you creative. Number 4, a hobby to build your knowledge. And number 5, a hobby to evolve your mindset. I want to share an example of each for me, and then I would love for you to share with me what hobbies you have by communicating with me on Twitter or, again, going out to the website. So a hobby that makes me money. Well, that stems from podcasting. I am able to make money as a podcast editor, and that helps to keep the sword sharp for this very podcast. And any podcast I'm involved with, I'm always learning. So I edit podcasts for money. How do I stay in shape? Well, I might not be in the best shape, but, I've mentioned it here a few times, and Stacy and AJ, here it comes. I do CrossFit. So that is a hobby that helps to keep me in shape. Creativity. How do I stay creative? I listen to podcasts. I consume content. And as I've discussed on Podcast PD, sometimes I just have moments of downtime. So driving in the car, a hobby would be going on my scooter, my Vespa-like scooter. Silencio, Bruno! Scooting during the summer and when the weather is nice on my Vespa-like scooter. And I always say Vespa-like because I'm a teacher. I can't afford a Vespa. But I have a Vespa-like scooter. And that's part of the reason why I haven't sat down to do a lot of episodes this summer. It's just been more relaxing and therapeutic and more beneficial to go out on my scooter at night as opposed to sitting here in the studio. So if you're in the Jersey Shore area and you ever see a Vespa scooter tricked out like Batman, well, that's me. So I like to go out and listen to my music on the scooter and just kind of cruise. So that's how I stay creative, giving my mind the opportunity to rest and consuming other content that inspires. Building my knowledge, listening to podcasts is a huge hobby, always looking to consume content and learn. I seek out knowledge. I'm reading articles. I'm going to websites. I'm watching videos. So I consume content as a hobby. And evolving my mindset, the content that I consume, I'm not always looking for people that I agree with. I look for diverse information sources. And I will interact with people who don't necessarily agree with me and that I don't necessarily agree with. So I'm always pushing forward that way. So once again, what are your hobbies? Do you have hobbies that fit into these 5 categories? Again, they are making money, keeping yourself in shape, keeping yourself creative, building your knowledge, and evolving your mindset. As we go into the 2021-2022 school year, think about how you can make time for your hobbies and other interests besides what you do as an educator. And that's my EdTech Thought. For this episode's featured content, I want to talk about some education technology that you might find valuable here at the start of the fall 2021 school year. Now, if you're listening to this episode well into the future and you've discovered this beyond fall 2021, well, stick around. This is not timely. It is timeless. So first, I have collected things. Again, if I go back to the EdTech Thought, consuming content and, building my knowledge, I've spent the summer learning and reading and consuming. So this is a very eclectic collection of technology that you might find value in, your own children might find value in, your students might find value in, your colleagues might find value in. Some of it's informative and some of it is kind of just for fun. Hey, go check out this website. But first, I want to start with, as always, Google and Google for Education, Google Workspace for Education, let's be current, is always changing. So we've got some new features that you can look forward to. So this is a little timely. These features may or may not exist in the future, or maybe new things do exist. But we've got 4 new Google Doc features that you need to know about. Number 1 is the ability to present to a Google Meet directly from Google Docs. Now, if you're a user of Sheets and Slides and Docs, you are now able to directly present the content into a Google Meet. You can quickly present and see both participants and your content in the Meet tab. Later this year, Google will take it a step further and allow Education Plus customers to embed live Meet video calls directly in Docs, Sheets, and Slides, making it even easier to see each other while collaborating. That's going to be fantastic. Even if you're in a classroom and you're not remote, that's going to be a fun feature. Number 2, new writing tips. Google Docs is adding more and more awesome stylistic features to the Google Doc editor. Besides suggestions about grammatical errors that has been around for years now, you as a Docs user can now turn on and off the new feature that provides warnings about offensive language and stylistic suggestions. So you can take your writing and your students can take their writing to a new level with new writing tips. Number 3, interactive checklists. This is similar to bulleted lists, but now interactive checklists allow you to organize items into an ordered structure with the added functionality that users are able to mark completed items. Table templates is another new feature that is expected to be released in the fall. The purpose behind table templates is to help a Docs user enhance their collaboration and foster their workflow. For example, topic voting templates let you easily gather feedback directly in Docs. And the last new Google Doc feature that you should be aware of going into fall 2021 is Smart Chips. Smart Chips allow you to pull in information from other Google Workspace products into your document. Using the @ symbol, you can add things such as files, dates, and people. For example, if you're a student working on a group project, you can quickly embed files from Drive or tag other students in your group right into the document by typing the @sign. Once people are tagged, just hover over their name to quickly chat, email, or set up a meeting. Those are 4 new Google Docs features that you need to be aware of. Next, how to clear space in your Google account. Now, maybe your Google account is nice and clean, your inbox 0, but for many others, and maybe you're one of the others, your Google account storage is almost at capacity, or you would just like to have it take up less space or have more space available. And that's important because you don't have unlimited space now. So as you're creating all these files going into the new school year anytime, you might need to clear up space. And again, last year in 2020, Google announced that basically everything you do is going to count towards your storage quota. So what are a couple of things that you can do to free up space in your Google account? Number 1, go to Gmail and in the search box, enter the following: type has attachment : 10M and hit enter. What that's going to do, it's going to pull up any email with an attachment that the attachment is larger than 10 megabytes. So those things, it's all taking up space inside of your Google account. And you can change that 10 to any number you'd like. So you can find things that, again, if you want to find anything with a message, 2 or higher, 3 or higher, you can do that. But this is a little search that you could put in there. Again, type has attachment larger : XM, where the X is any number you want. And then you can check off emails with large attachments and you can delete them or download the attachments, save them maybe on your computer and, kind of get rid of them that way. Number 2, right in your Google Drive, go to Google Drive and in the left-hand menu, click Storage. This is going to bring up a list of all your files, sorted largest to smallest. If the smallest ones appear at the top, hit Storage and, you use the filter. Okay. Then to remove a file, right click and choose Remove. Now remember, be sure to download or make a backup elsewhere if these large files might be needed down the road. And within 24 hours, any deleted items will show in the available space in your Google Drive account. So maybe take some time here at the start of the school year or whenever you're listening to this to kind of clean up your Google Drive storage. Now I've got a couple of sites that I've kind of curated here through the summer months, and this is just cool stuff. So the first website, which you might find enjoyable, and certainly students will find enjoyable, is mecabricks.com. That's MECA bricks, BRICKS.com. What is mecabricks.com? It is a website that lets you build and render 3D Lego models online. You have access to almost every Lego piece imaginable, but virtually. There are workshops that you can do on the website. There is a library. There are parts. There's a forum. There are tons of virtual models here. So if you've ever thought, wow, I'd love to have Lego in my classroom, but I don't want to have the mess of Lego in my classroom, this is a cool website, mecabricks.com. Next up, MyColor.space. This is a really cool website if you are into graphic design or if you want to give your kids the ability to be creative. Basically, on this website, MyColor.space, don't waste hours finding the perfect color palette. Start with one color using a hex code. Okay, so that's hashtag and then 6 characters to get you a color. And then you click generate and it will generate any number of colors that go with and match or complement or accent your original starting color. It's free to use. You can get gradients. You can get 3-color gradients, and it's really cool. Doing graphic design stuff, this is certainly valuable if you're trying to coordinate colors in your classroom, or you want students to do projects or match fonts and colors and graphics and presentations. MyColor.space. Next up, animatron.com. This is a fun website, and I should have had it open before I said it out loud. So let me go to animatron.com. When you go to this website, you've got two choices. You can use one of two tools. They have a HTML5 and video animation tool where you can choose backgrounds and add characters, and it will do some basic animation. So it's a universal animation maker. The other allows you to create, edit, and repurpose marketing videos. So you can basically have a video editor where you can add components, and it will help you create videos for different platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. So you can create these videos and animations and then use them out on social media. So you might find that useful to promote events in your school or for your classroom, and your students might find value in the simple animation studio. And again, this is animatron.com. Next up, we've got Jitter.video. That's JITTER.video. And Jitter.video is a design tool for motion. You can animate your designs easily, and you can export your creations as videos or GIFs. And that's right, I say GIF. If you say otherwise, we can find a bike rack after school. There are templates here where you can create very simple animations. You can replicate chat conversations, title intros. It's free to use. And as I pull this up here, you can use it for free with GIF and video exports at 720p and 30 frames per second and unlimited projects. Or if for some reason you wanted to pay $9 a month or $108 a year, you can also get access to 1080p and 60 frames per second, and you get priority support. But I would recommend just using it for free because you get everything you need. There's not much we need to do in school at 1080p resolution. And in terms of templates, as I open this up, you can animate tweets. You can do animated text message conversations, animated phone notification screens. You can do animated stories that could be used on TikTok or Instagram, maybe Snapchat. What else can you do here? Again, it's all animated. You could do animated logos and quick, easy animations that maybe you want to export and use maybe on a video or a video project. So there's just some really cool stuff. And really the nice feature is if you find something you like and you want to use it as a GIF, again, you could bring that into, Google Slides, Google Docs. You could put it on a Google site. So a nice, easy way to make some animated graphics. Next up, we have printfriendly.com. And this is a very easy website where you could take any web page, news article, etc., and make a print-friendly version as well as a PDF version. It's that simple. Go check out printfriendly.com. Next up is justdeleteme.xyz. And this is a website where you can put in your social media website account of choice, and it will take you to that services page to delete your account. Maybe you want to clean up a social media presence. Maybe this would be a great tool just to make your students aware of. So if you've ever wondered, gosh, how can I delete my account on Algolia? Well, you can go to justdeleteme. I don't even know what Algolia is, but it kind of lets you know using red, green, yellow, and black, the degree of difficulty to delete said accounts. So justdeleteme.xyz, you might find that valuable. Next up, we have pixelhunter.io. And pixelhunter.io allows you to create free AI images for social media. So cropping each and every image by hand, that can be tiresome. I've done it in Photoshop. But this new tool that I now have access to, Pixel Hunter, utilizes amazing what they call upload care intelligence to recognize objects and crop pictures automatically. Just upload your image of any size and it will be automatically resized to each and every of 102 sizes that they support. So for example, cropping images automatically for Facebook, Google, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, embedding for email. Okay. For example, with Facebook, it'll crop an image for your profile picture as an image post, as a cover photo. For Instagram, it'll do for stories, square posts, your profile picture, so on and so on and so on. So this is pixelhunter.io. And finally, the thing that I need you to do here at the start of the new school year, or again, whenever you're listening to this, if you haven't signed up for a free Canva for Educators account, you must do that. Use your district email and get over and get your free Canva account. Not the regular free account that you can use any old Gmail or Hotmail to sign up for. That's right, I said Hotmail. The free Canva account with your school or your educator email gives you access to basically Canva Pro. So that's all the images, all the templates, everything. It unlocks Canva free for educators. I will include a link to this out in the show notes, out at chrisnessy.com/183. So you can either go to the website and do this, and that's probably the easiest way to sign up for this. I mean, you could do it on mobile. The link will be there as well, but go get your free Canva account for educators. And if there's other EdTech tools that obviously I didn't talk about here, I want to know what you're using and what you're excited about in the coming school year and what you're going to be doing. In fact, that leads me to my Just Give It A Try segment. So let's do that. I want to try something new with Just Give It A Try. So what I'm going to do is the first episode I release for the month, I'm going to talk about Just Give It A Try, and I'm going to pose a question to you. For example, I would like to know, as I just started to allude to in the featured content of this episode, what are you looking forward to trying in the coming months in your classroom or your school in terms of education technology? And I want your answer to this question by August 27th, so I can include it in the following episode after that, which would be at the beginning of September. So it's kind of like a question of the month. And certainly this would be, I'll be honest, it would be more effective if I released episodes every week, but I don't do that. I release this episode every 2 weeks for this show. But I want to try a question of the month like feature on the podcast, which I want to kind of umbrella under Just Give It A Try. So let me say this. At any time, you can reach out to me. Go to chrisnessy.com/feedback. Send me an email or send me an audio message, or go to chrisnessy.com/flipgrid and let me know what you're doing in your school or classroom, whether it works or it doesn't work. Okay. If it works, tell us why it worked. Tell us why it was awesome. If it didn't work, tell us why you think it didn't work and be reflective and help not only me, but everyone else who listens to this podcast besides you learn from your experiences. So that's what you can do all the time. But I'm also going to throw in more direct questions going forward. And we're going to try this. We're going to see. I'm just going to give it a try to ask a pointed question. So the first one I want to do again is, what are you looking forward to trying in the coming months in your classroom or school? I'd love to have your answer by August 27th, 2021. If you're hearing this after August 27th, you can still answer the question. Send it over. I'll find a way to include it if it's beyond the episode that I originally intend to put it in. So let's just give it a try. And of course, no episode of this podcast is truly complete without a House of EdTech VIP. And because I was a little lax in releasing some episodes through the summer, I've got 2 VIPs for you to connect with. First, I want you to go out and connect with Erin Cummings. She is at Erin C_CCIU on Twitter. And she is an online learning innovation specialist for the Chester County Intermediate Unit. Go connect with Erin. She recently connected with me on Twitter, and she needs more people to connect with her. So if you follow me, go connect with Erin. Also, I'd like to introduce you to Marilena Neocleous. And I hope I said that correctly. If not, I apologize. I had a 50-50 shot. She's a Greek language and lit teacher in an English school, Nicosia. She's an EdTech enthusiast who is seeking powerful ways to empower students and empower teachers. She is at Marilena N_ED, and I will link to her Twitter profile as well as Erin's out in the show notes at chrisnessy.com/183. And again, depending on the app you're listening to this right now in, you can tap the cover art or maybe swipe left or scroll on this page, and you'll also be able to get the links to their Twitter profiles. But I want you to go connect with both of these women and help to grow their professional learning networks, and each one teach one. That's what it's all about here on the House of EdTech. And congratulations to Marilena and Erin. You are House of EdTech VIPs. Thank you for checking out this episode of the House of EdTech. I am very appreciative that you make this podcast part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. Let's keep the conversation going. I want to connect with you and hear your thoughts on EdTech for fall 2021. And if this is well beyond fall 2021, I would still love to know what you're using and what you're doing. All right? I can't do this alone, so let's do it together. Go leave a comment on the show notes by visiting chrisnessy.com/183. And since I haven't said in a while, that's CHRISNESI.com. You can also send a message by going to chrisnessy.com/feedback. That would be a great way to send an email message, or again, on any page on the website, you can send me a voicemail. Now, if you enjoy the podcast, a couple of calls to action here. Number 1, and this is the most important thing you can do. If you haven't done this ever, try it once. I would appreciate it. Number 1, tell somebody else about the podcast. Grab their phone from them, go to the podcast app. If they don't have a podcast app, install one and subscribe them to the House of EdTech and tell them how much fun this podcast is. I would appreciate that. Number 2, I've added a new page to the website where I would love it if you supported the companies that support the House of EdTech. So I've created a new sponsors page. So if you go to chrisnessy.com/sponsors, that's where all of the companies that I have a relationship with, either they give me money, they send me some product, you can benefit by engaging those businesses, and you will also be helping the podcast. Okay? So if you don't want to donate money, that's fine. Go buy the things that you want to buy, and you'll still be helping the podcast. So again, you can do that at chrisnessy.com/sponsors. Now, if you do want to make some type of financial contribution, you could become an awesome supporter. The Awesome Supporter program is powered by Patreon that allows a consumer of content like you to support a creator of content like me. Shout outs to Anthony Arnaud, Dan Gallagher, Carlos Garza, Peggy George, Jeff Herb, Mike Messner, Matt Miller, JP Presavento, Patty Reefus, Lori Simpson, and Kyle Wilcox. Kyle Wilcox, that's right. I know you, Kyle. If you want to become an awesome supporter, go to chrisnessy.com/awesome. The next episode, 184, is scheduled to come out on August 22nd, 2021. Join me then. Until next time, thanks for learning with me, and remember, using technology isn't difficult. Just give it a try.